All right, what's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be having a look at clothing from the Textile Loom, Snazzy Suit, Warm Coats, all the Primo Garbs, how they affect your colony and your dupes, what they cost, and just how to keep all your guys looking fashionable as they run around the asteroid. So, Snazzy Suits are kind of like the basic decor buff clothing that you can get for your dupe. You've probably seen these things come in from the blueprints. Maybe you've gone to come here and it'll have a suit, and maybe you equip them onto your dupes, or maybe you don't. But they actually can help a lot, and that's because they provide a plus 30 decor to the dupe basically everywhere he goes. Now, if you don't know, the way you equip these things is you're going to select one of your dupes and you're going to go over to the config right here. And this is where you can manually assign things like dining tables, toilets, beds, and then suits and clothing. Now, the suits is not, the snazzy suits and the Primo Garb. These they're referring to is the Atmos suits and stuff like that. Oops. But the other one is the clothing. And this is where you can go through and make sure that they've got one assigned to them. And then obviously on the right beside it, you'll see the blueprints. And the blueprint is where you can change the skins of the clothing and the Atmos suits, and you get into all that fun stuff. Now, all of my guys right now are running around with Primo Garbs, which are the upgraded versions of the snazzy suits. But in order to understand kind of like, the benefits of these things, you have to have a little bit more of an understanding of how the decor system works. So decor is based off of the average that is around your duplicate as he runs around the map. So as you see here, it says average decor this cycle, and that's constantly moving. And then you have the average decor last cycle. So as I understand it, your average decor for the cycle then applies the next cycle, I believe. And every 10 decor equals 1 morale to a maximum of 12 that you could have off of it. So when you give your dupe, now the dupes start with the base outfit of -5 decor, I believe it is. So when you give them a snazzy suit, you're basically negating that, and you're giving them a plus 30 decor that constantly rolls around them as they run around and do stuff. So that makes a big difference at slowly raising all of it as you go. Now, the snazzy suits are actually not that expensive to build. When you look at them, they cost 4 reed fiber. The insulation thickness is 0.3 centimeters. And again, here it shows you the decor. Now, reed fiber, if you're not aware, comes from these thimble reeds. It can also come from these bad boys right here, your Drecos. And so you can give these guys haircuts and get some reed fiber off of them. But definitely using the thimble reed is the easiest way to do it. Now, the reason I say it's the easiest way to do it is because all it uses is polluted water, and you basically get never-ending polluted water from some of these buildings here, right? Toilets and sinks and stuff. And then you get an extra amount because, they take in, your toilets take in 5 kilograms per use, and they they get rid of 11.7 kilograms per use. So you can basically just pipe this stuff straight to your thimble reeds and just grow thimble reeds the entire game. You don't need any lights or anything to go. They actually use a lot of polluted water. So you will find that even if you're feeding it all your water, they still are going to go through downtime where they're not fully fed, but that's okay. I mean, if you wanted to pipe in your polluted water to, keep them growing, you could totally do that. But I find that it works just to let them passively accumulate. And then eventually you'll get to a point that you have enough going that you can use it for, carpets or whatever else you need to do with it. You can see here too, Atmos suits take reed fiber as well. So it's a really important resource to use all the way around. So now the Primo Garbs, actually first let's talk about the warm coats. So the warm coat which I never really use these things, but I'm sure they are helpful for people who maybe are playing on a cold asteroid or something. But the warm coats don't give any decor. They just give a little bit of insulation thickness, which can help your guys obviously deal with temperature fluctuations in the different biomes. If I recall, they used to have a cool vest, and I think that the issue with the cool vest, I believe it was removed, and I believe the reason it was removed was because it lowered the insulation thickness, and I think that that actually turned out to have a bit of a trade-off, because what would happen is you would have less insulation, but then you would go into the hot biomes, and so the temperature would transfer faster or something like that. So it kind of like negated itself. It kind of like didn't really have a useful purpose. So I believe they got rid of those, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so those go from there. So now when it comes to the clothing, you don't want to confuse this with the blueprint system. And the blueprint system, when you get into like, you know, all of this stuff with different colored things, like this is just cosmetic stuff, right? And you can set these. I'll make another video on this stuff, but you can change the skins on, you know, different types of things. You can do templates, apply different skins to, you know, your Atmos suits and you know, different stuff like that. And these are what you unlock from the random drops in the top left. You'll see this little thing in the top here will highlight, and that means you've got extra. I believe you get like so many a week or something. I'm not 100% sure, but for years, I never even clicked on these things. And then eventually I started to care a little bit more about them. But so now let's talk about the Primo Garb. So the Primo Garb is the upgraded version of the Snazzy suit, and they're called Primo Garbs. But when you come here, you'll see them listed as different, you know, just different names here. And this is basically all just different styles of the Primo Garb, but they all have the same decor. They're all plus 40 decor. So you're getting a little bit extra decor from the Snazzy suit, extra 10. The insulation thickness is the same, but they require one Snazzy suit to make, and then additional reed fiber, right? So the Snazzy suit sets you back 4, and then you have to use that plus 3. So you're into it basically for 7 reed fiber total is the cost of getting to the Primo Garbs. So even though you'll see these, you know, classic cummerbund or whatever, blue suit, these are all just different skins of the Primo Garb, which is right here. So you can see nothing too crazy going on with that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that in order to use these buildings, clothing refashionator, you're going to need to research. Where is it under here? Under decor stuff? Let me see. Here we go, I believe. Right here. So it's the clothing refashionator. So this is right in here with the plastics. But it's I would say an early game research, no big deal. And then the textile loom is right here. So you can get it fairly early. But I definitely recommend, I neglected putting clothing on my dupes for a long time, but it really has a huge impact. And if you come in and you start looking at morale bonuses, now these aren't the greatest, of course, but it adds up. It really does. So if you can basically take your guy from being a negative every day of -5 just from the baseline clothing, and then give him, you know, that 30 default, it helps a lot. And that's also why it's so important to keep your bedroom maxed out at the 120 decor as best you can, because this basically, if you take into consideration how long they sleep for, I've done the math on this. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but basically I believe the nighttime sleeping accounts for something like 12%, something around 12%, 12.5%, right? So I think default schedule is, let's say, 24 blocks, 25 seconds times 25 seconds is 600 cycles. with 3 bedtime blocks. Correct me if I'm wrong here. This is just, how I'm recalling this. 3 bedtime blocks, so that's 75 cents or 75 seconds, sorry. And so basically, the dupes spend 12.5% of a cycle in bed if they sleep for the whole block. So that actually, if the average decor equals by time, right? So you have to average the amount of time they spend in the bedroom because that impacts their average decor for the day, right? So, anyways, I could post the formula here. I just found it on my other monitor, but basically, you want to keep your bedroom at max decor because you're gonna keep it at plus 120 for 12.5% of their day because that's how long they spend sleeping, and that gives you a free little bonus to that. But I think that's pretty much everything. You can see here this nice little glow. So it goes for 3 tiles around them. And you really start to get the bonus when they overlap each other because you put them all in a room together and it really starts to stack up. So, but I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, if I missed anything, let me know. I think I covered most of it, how to make it, what they do, the different versions and all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video.